The movie begins with a family: Jake, Kira, and Mika posing for a family photo. Yang, an android, is setting up the camera, and they urge him to join them so that he can also be in the picture. As Kira is making food, Mika asks when her father is coming home. Kira tells her he is stuck at work. Mika complains, but Kira explains that Jake needs to be there because there is a lot of work. Later, as they are having dinner, Mika tells them that she made the gochujang sauce. They appreciate it, saying it is good. As they are preparing to sleep, Kira mentions that Mika is complaining about them being busy all the time. Jake tries to reassure her, saying that she'll understand, but Kira is skeptical. Jake tells her he will try to make time. The scene then shifts to the four of them practicing dance. Yang and Mika are sleeping on the couch. Jake informs Kira that they have 3 years left on the warranty for Yang, but they're unable to reach anyone. He mentions that he's planning to visit the store, though he's unsure if it still exists as he couldn't find it online. Kira asks if he contacted brothers and sisters, but Jake reminds her that they didn't buy Yang directly from them, so the warranty won't be honored. The warranty is with second siblings. Kira expresses regret over not buying a new one, noting that Yang was certified refurbished and had only been in use for 5 days. Despite the savings, they now have to deal with the malfunction. As Jake is calling Mika to take her to school while carrying Yang on his shoulder, a neighbor shows up and asks about Yang. Jake explains that Yang shut down last night and won't restart. The neighbor inquires if this has happened before and suggests avoiding brothers and sisters, as they might try to persuade him to recycle Yang for a new model. Jake mentions that the warranty is with another store, not brothers and sisters. The neighbor then recommends a technician in Woodbury, offering to send the information, and advises against taking Yang to Quick Fix. Jake thanks the neighbor and hurries to get Mika to school. On their way, Mika is worried about Yang and chooses to stay with him instead of going to school. Kira calls and tells her that if she can be good and calm for the rest of the day, she'll bring her a surprise. Mika becomes curious and repeatedly asks what the surprise is, but Kira tries to avoid giving a direct answer. She thanks Jake for taking the day off to handle the situation and tells Mika to be good and listen to her dad. Kira then mentions she needs to go to prepare for her presentation and promises they'll talk later. Jake went to the market and talked to a guy selling fish tanks. He asked if the seller knew what happened to a store called Second Siblings, but he didn't know about Second Siblings or Techno. Jake then visited brothers and sisters. The man explained that they were not allowed to tamper with the core interior due to a bylaw. They could repair or replace up to 12 parts, but their diagnostics showed a core malfunction in Yang, which they couldn't fix. The man suggested 2 options: recycle Yang at brothers and sisters for $1,000 off a new model, or turn Yang's head and voice box into a virtual assistant while salvaging the remaining parts. Jake rejected both options, insisting on getting a second opinion. The man charged him $250 for the diagnostics, much to Jake's frustration. Jake took Yang to another technician, who confirmed it was an interior core problem and asked for permission to break it open. Jake declined. Mika, overhearing, reminded Jake of his promise to fix Yang, but Jake asked her to wait outside. Later that night, Kira mentioned that maybe this situation could be a good thing. Jake was puzzled, noting that Yang had been wonderful and they'd all miss him terribly. Kira agreed but pointed out that they've been over-reliant on Yang. She reminded Jake that they bought Yang to connect Mika to her Chinese heritage, not to raise her. Jake argued that they spent a lot of money on Yang and that he does more than just teach Chinese fun facts. Kira insisted that if they can't fix Yang, they won't buy another sibling for Mika, as it would be strange and unaffordable. She emphasized that they need to be more involved in raising Mika and connecting her to her culture and heritage, which would now be their responsibility. As Yang is lying in the repair shop, memories of him with Mika are shown. The next morning, the family is getting ready to start the day. After they all got out of the house, a girl came and started looking through the glass window. In the repair shop, the technician said he has always known some bots are equipped with spyware, and now he has proof. When Jake inquired if he had looked at the recordings, the technician, a pro-privacy advocate, said no. Jake went to the place the repairman recommended and asked for Max Walker. Initially met with skepticism, he explained that Russ had sent him and showed the item found inside Yang. The woman examined it and realized it wasn't spyware but a memory bank, used in a now-defunct research project to record a few seconds each day. She explained the project's significance and its shutdown due to privacy law violations. She suggested Yang's memories could be invaluable to their museum, and asked how much they should pay Jake to include Yang and his memories in their collection. After having a meal and talking with Kira, Jake returned to the woman, who provided him with a reader for Yang's memory bank. She explained that it functions like any other reader and should be intuitive to use. Jake would need a certification card with a serial number and PIN that came with Yang. She also reminded Jake of their agreement to bring Yang's body the next day. Later that night, Mika was up late. Jake informed Kira, who was getting ready to leave, that Mika couldn't sleep. Kira explained she would be staying overnight at the office with Brenda to catch up on work. She asked Jake to take Mika to school and get her ready for the day. Jake assured her he could handle it. As Kira left, she asked if they were okay and inquired about the specialist's findings. Jake reassured her that they should know something soon and told her to try and get some sleep. Jake, sitting on the couch, was going through Young's memories and saw images of their family, Ada, and Mika. Mika startled him, asking what he was watching. He told her it was a documentary before going to get her water. The next day, Jake returned to the repairman, who was surprised that Jake wanted Yang back. Jake insisted on getting Yang back, mentioning that Max was no longer there and suggesting he might have been taken. Jake watches Yang's memories of their family posing for a photo and begins to have flashbacks. While having tea, he recalls a conversation with Yang about a documentary on the search for the best tea in China. Jake is fascinated by the film's description of tea's taste, imagining it as walking through a damp forest. Yang expresses a wish to watch the movie together and reflects on his lack of a deeper connection to Chinese tea, beyond just facts. They drink tea, discussing its flavors, aroma, and history. Jake asks Yang if he is happy, but Yang says it might not be the right question. Jake then shifts to a memory of Ada singing in a club. Jake went to a coffee shop looking for Ada, but the manager refused to give him any information. He then asked his neighbor, George, if he knew the girl. George called his daughters, and the elder one confirmed seeing Ada at Jake's place a few times. When asked if Ada was in trouble, Jake assured her she wasn't. George's daughter mentioned she had talked to Ada once, but Yang asked her not to say anything. George teased Jake about his discomfort with clones. The daughter revealed that Ada is a clone but is cool and nice. Jake asked for her name, and the daughter said it was something like Ada. Jake thanked them for the information. That night, during dinner, Mika expressed her desire to see Yang. Kira responded gently, acknowledging that they all miss him but can't see him right now. Mika protested, not wanting to be a family of three and insisting she wanted Yang back. Kira reassured her that Jake was doing everything he could and that she wanted Yang back too. Mika then asked Kira directly if she wanted Yang back, and Kira affirmed that she did. In their room, Kira expressed frustration that the situation was dragging on too long. Jake went to the woman who was recommended as Max. He asked if it was possible for cultural technos like Yang to have romantic interests. He clarified that he wasn't asking about humans using them, but rather if Yang himself could be interested in someone. He mentioned a girl who appeared in Yang's memories, whom they knew nothing about. The woman found it fascinating, noting she'd never heard of cultural techno having that capacity. She expressed a great interest in Yang and his memories. Jake returned home and Ada knocked on the door. Ada came inside and explained she knew something was wrong when Yang stopped answering her messages. She shared that Yang loved being part of Jake's family and recounted how they met at a coffee shop, where he was a regular customer. Despite finding out he was a techno, they started talking and eventually spent time together. Their conversation was interrupted by a call from Kira. She informed Jake that Mika was freaking out at school, having punched a kid and screamed at everyone. Kira asked if he could pick her up, and Jake, shocked, said he would go immediately. Jake and Ada then left together to pick up Mika. Jake, Mika, and Ada went to see Max. Max explained to Jake that Yang would have his area in the exhibit. Some of Yang's memories could be put on a loop, projected or accessible to readers and visitors. Max assured Jake that any memory used would have to be approved by him. Kira watches a memory with Yang where she comments on her growing collection. Yang shares facts about butterflies in Chinese trade art, and a folk tale about lovers becoming butterflies. Kira and Yang ponder the belief that endings can be beginnings. Kira admits she'd be fine if there's nothing after the end and wonders if humans are programmed to seek such meanings. They both consider if this realization makes them feel sad, concluding that there can be no something without nothing. Meanwhile, Jake asked Ada if Yang ever struggled with being a techno or wanted to be human. Ada found the question amusing, noting that humans often assume other beings want to be human. She confirmed Yang never struggled with his identity but often questioned what made someone Asian, likely to help Mika understand her heritage. Ada acknowledged Yang's dedication to Mika, affirming he was a good brother, with Jake agreeing that Yang was a great brother. Jake went to other android owners after extracting information from Yang's memory. They explained their android seemed despondent and broken, leading them to make an exchange at a place they couldn't quite remember, possibly second siblings in Chinatown. They confirmed it was a certified but not new purchase and that the android was in a sleep state when bought. On the way home, Jake continued reviewing Yang's memories, seeing various people Yang had interacted with. Back home, Jake told Kira he didn't want Yang to be on display in the museum. Kira agreed. Jake suggests they should let the researchers study his memories instead. She believed Yang's existence mattered, not just to them but to a broader understanding. That night, Mika got out of her room and went to Jake, who asked what she was doing up. She couldn't sleep, and neither could he. They both admitted they didn't want to say goodbye to Yang. Mika sat beside Jake, sharing their mutual sadness. With that, the movie ends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.